And so I was thinking about that, and Jesus even goes on to say after that, he says, "For whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for me will find it. What good will it be for a man if he gains the whole world, yet forfeits his soul? Or what can a man give in exchange for his soul?" It's verse 26. And you read that, and you're kind of like, what does that mean? That's kind of confusing. Gain your life, lose your life, that kind of thinking. And I thought about it. I thought there's a good analogy that I've seen and heard before, and I'm going to have Sam and Isaiah come up and just kind of give a little demonstration of what this is. And I'll try to stay in the box so it doesn't squeal. So if these guys will come up a minute. This is a ruler. And if you can imagine Sam as like an idea of eternity, right? Like this is our life, this tape measure here, this ruler. It's a 100-foot ruler, and Sam's going to be careful not to go too far past the end, but it just kind of goes and goes and goes, you know? That's what God created us for, this life eternal, right? But in it, oh, this is a tricky one. How many feet is 80 inches? 65, right? 7 feet is 80 inches? Okay, I can't do the math quick, so. Okay, so right here. If this is 80 inches, and we'll say each inch kind of represents a year of our life. Thanks, Sam. You good? Hold on to it, buddy. This kind of represents our life. And you kind of look at that, and you're like, that's not really a whole lot we're dealing with here. But this is like our season on earth. You know, if we live a healthy life, God says that, you know, in a healthy life, maybe you'll achieve 80 years or 75, whatever it might be. But 80 years, I mean, we would agree that that's probably a pretty good long life. And in this is like where God has created us to live in. And he says, when he's saying things like, if you lose your life, you're going to gain it. And I just think in the stories of our lives, so often, this is our view right here. This 80 inches, and we live for this. I think of like when I was fishing. This is ultimately what I was living for. I really didn't have much idea of this eternal life that God had created me for and purposed me for. So we live in this 80, and God says, Jesus says, I want you to lose your life so that you can gain it. But this is like where Jesus wants to hang out. Like he wants to hang out down in here. Like for me, it was like 8. I don't know. For some of you, maybe it was different. For some of you, maybe it hasn't even started yet. But this is like Jesus is saying, you know, I want you to lose your life right here. I want you to give it to me. And I want you to give you the view of what life eternal might look like. And Sam is representing the end of the tape measure, but he's not representing the end of what we were created for, because what we were created for is forever and ever. And I don't know if you've ever tried to download that in your mind, but that's like painful and it's hard to do, but that's what we were created for. And so often we just live in this 80 inches, and Jesus is saying, I want you to lose your life in this time frame. I want you to think about the things of the kingdom. And this is the things of the kingdom. And within that, I think if Jesus were to kind of narrate it in our version today, or like our language, he might have said something like this. And if like there's one thing that, we're playing Jump the Ruler a minute. There we go. If there was like one thing like today that you wanted to write down, I think this would be it. It's like if we could make one good choice in the rhythm of God's purpose, our life was created to be purposeful. If we could make one good choice in the rhythm of God's purpose, it unleashes God's mission in our life and in others.